Hello everyone, it's Tio speaking. Next to me we got Brutal Smack
Hey.
and Sofini.
Hey guys.
And yeah, today we've got a awesome new announcement. We're going to be going over a ton of stuff. So as we've been talking about a long time now, the server is about to undergo a huge transformation. We're ready. Oh, we got a
Oh,
special
hello.
guest, Love Groove 90. Hold
Wait,
on
where is
here.
she?
Oh,
Oh,
I think Santa's little helper
yeah,
is being a little
she's
shy.
well then. All right, so we've got a special guest for the show today, and in addition to that guest, you also may notice the arrow glitch that seems to be present with our chairs plugin. So
It's
please,
not a glitch, it's a feature.
it's a feature, huh? Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, you guys might notice that throughout the video as well. So yeah, I guess we have two special guests tonight. So anyway, getting back to it here, as we've been talking about a long time now, the server's about to undergo a massive transformation. Um, this transformation is going to happen over the next 4 months. We have named it the Valcrestian Renaissance expansion. We'll get more into that later, but this video is going to be covering all the new changes that this expansion is going to include. Everything from a brand new spawn, possibly a new 1.11 world, many new features including a creative world, mini games, new ways that we run staff, new ways that we do rule enforcements. We're literally going to more than double the number of ranks available. We're going to be putting on numerous new events, a Christmas event, possibly a New Year's event, a huge event this spring, and lastly, at the very end of the video, we know you guys have all been waiting for this. Everyone's been asking, what happened to the town tournament? We're going to be going over the new town tournament. We have completely overhauled the town tournament from scratch, and we're going to be talking about that toward the end of this video. So, anyway, this video is
I
going to
think
be a longer one, so do stay tuned, though. It will be worth the wait. There's a lot of awesome features we'll be talking about. Sorry, what was that, Sophie?
I was gonna say, I think you just covered everything. We can wrap it up right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right, guys, that's it. All right,
That's all you get.
let's go. Yep. All right. So anyway, that's what the expansion's gonna be. Yeah, yeah. See you guys next time. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Okay,
Oh, man.
back to the show. Back to the show. Okay, so so yeah, guys. So the new spawn. Let's start by talking about that. That's one of the biggest things that we've been talking about. So with the current spawn, as you guys know, it's a little bit small. It's really well built, looks nice and everything. But we're running out of shops a lot. Back when we were really busy, we really didn't have nearly enough shops. We're probably going to get like that again here soon. We haven't been advertising for a long time, but we will soon. But anyway, the point is, the new spawn is going to be equally, if not better, built than this current one. And not only that, but it's going to be tremendously larger. Sophie, Brutal, have either of you guys, do you guys remember from the meeting what kind of spawn we're really looking at?
So the theme of our new spawn is going to be copying the Italian Renaissance. So it's going to not really look very medieval like this current spawn, but it definitely will be looking way more exquisite than our new spawn now.
It's gonna be like the Sistine Chapel. We're gonna have paintings all up on the ceiling. It's gonna be wonderful. Don't quote me on that. I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And in fact, there's some other small plugins that we're going to be adding to go along with this theme. So these plugins, one of them is going to be a plugin that actually allows us to put custom paintings into the game. And another one that we're looking into, this one's still, speculative, might not actually be able to happen, but there's a plugin that allows you to actually make your own paintings in game. Like you can actually like get out a sort of a canvas, if you will. I believe the item is an armor stand, and you can actually paint it in game, and that'll kind of go along with that. But yeah, you guys are absolutely right. Now, do you guys remember the size of the spawn that we're talking about?
It was something like 750 by 750, right?
Really big.
That's correct. That's correct. Now, the way it's going to actually look like is this: 750 by 750 is true. That's the size of the custom terrain that it's going to sit on. However, the build itself will be 500 by 500. Okay, and it's going to be a dense, very immersive city, an Italian Renaissance city, and I mean this very literally when I say this. Every goddamn building in that 500 by 500 spawn, every single one of them will have a useful and meaningful interior. Every single building will have a function. There won't be a single building in the whole spawn that is pointless. Every single building in that spawn will have a meaningful use to it. So this is going to really redefine the meaning of a highly immersive spawn, and the goal with it really is to create a better spawn than any other townie server out there. And when we're done, I'm actually going to challenge you guys to go out to some other townie servers and try to find one that beats ours. We have hired a top-notch build team. This build team has built for many top servers, many of the best. This team's very professional, and these guys, for those who have seen their portfolio, you might find other portfolios that are equally good, but you just won't find anything better than this.
Yeah, no, we've scoured their portfolio, and I hope that you guys are incredibly excited as we are.
Yep, that's now we've talked about, we've generally vaguely described it, but let's actually talk about some of the features that this spawn will have. Okay, because this spawn, it's not just going to be cosmetic. Let's talk about the features. So first, it's going to be featured inside of city walls. Okay. And there's going to be certain gates which will act as exit points. One of the big criticisms that our current spawn gets a lot is that it is really difficult to find your way out. And I'm not going to lie, the new spawn will also be difficult to find your way out. However, what makes this new spawn different is that throughout the spawn, especially in the intro area, there will be signs making it known that you can warp to these gates, and these gates will act as exit points where you can then leave the spawn, right? So there won't be any need in the future for things like the Save the Noob Foundation and that sort of thing. People will be able to teleport directly to these gates.
Hopefully no more noobs saying that they're starving and spawn and can't get out and find the wild.
Yeah, right. Now,
That's honestly my favorite part of this server.
Now, one thing that will carry on in this new spawn is the element of economy. Throughout the whole entire spawn, there won't be just like a single unified marketplace. You'll find shops and stalls and that sort of thing throughout the spawn as a whole to make it feel more like a realistic city. And you'll be able to rent out those shops, and those shops might actually be part of more larger builds. So, for example, you might have an apartment complex where players can actually
so
go.
excited for that.
That'll be pretty sweet, won't it? Like, you'll have players that can rent apartments from these apartment complex, and connected to it there might be a shop, and someone might be renting that shop, selling things from the shop, and outside that shop there could be stalls, and right across the street from that could be a stadium. And that's the next thing. This spawn, one of the biggest features of it is going to be a large, very well built stadium. The stadium is going to be one of the biggest focuses of this spawn, and it's where we're going to hold a lot of major events in the future. We could hold everything in this stadium from plays to parties. We could hold races. We could hold obviously PvP events, so on and so forth. Lots of big events will be held in the stadium that'll be in this spawn, and we might even set it up so that you can duel in there as well. So
Yeah, so our spawn now, it's just like pretty much marketplace for most people, but with their new spawn, it'll become a player hub. People just can come out and just hang out with other people. It's not going to be just a shop anymore. We're going to have so much more for you guys to do.
absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more immersive. Some other features of this spawn, there will be like a large shipyard. Be pretty cool. That part will be relatively cosmetic. However, one thing that will make it useful is there'll actually be a variety of storage places at the shipyard. This will include warehouses where you can actually rent these warehouses for storage purposes. So this will vary everything from small warehouses that'll be useful to like a new player, to larger warehouses that'd be useful to someone who's got a shit ton of stuff. So aside from the shipyard, we're looking at stables similar to what we currently have. There'll be a lot of destinations, kind of like the stables area, that will be intended to explain certain plugins. There'll be a large chapel, which will be highly cosmetic, but the chapel will also serve to explain the gods plugin as well as the gods ranks. Like our current spawn, there'll be a central spawn building inside of it. There'll be an info center, and the info center in that spawn building will be much larger and have a lot more information available about the server. By the end of it, the goal is to have a like a posting board for literally every single plugin that players have access to in our server. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of good stuff there, as well as there's going to be a tutorial area, kind of like we currently have. As mentioned earlier, apartments will be a new thing with this new spawn. Aside from the apartments, I'm trying to think. There's a few other features that just aren't coming to mind. Do either of you guys remember a couple that I haven't mentioned?
Man, I know we're having a staff building, but I only care about that because I'm getting.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's actually a good one. There'll be a staff building. Do you guys want to tell them more about that?
All I know is I'm getting an office in it, and that's honestly all I care about.
Yeah, pretty much every staff member will have their own little office cubicle, what have you.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. And what's cool about it, though, is that it will be owned by them in the sense that they will actually own that sub-region of the spawn, and they'll be able to edit it, but nobody else will. So they'll be able to personalize their office to their own liking, and players will be able to go into the staff building and kind of look at other staff members' offices and that sort of thing. And there'll even be like a mail system to where if you want to get a written book and send a staff member a written book mail, you'll be able to do that in there as well. So
I collect fan fiction.
there you go. One thing that this server will have that our current server does not have, which will go along with one of the ranks that's coming up, we'll talk about that later, is a library. We're actually going to have a fully functional library using the bookshelf plugin and using basically like a kind of a hopper setup to where anyone who writes a book in the server will be able to go to this library, drop off their book in a certain hopper, and we'll then take that book, make a bunch of copies of it, and actually put it into bookshelves. And we'll probably have someone on staff whose main job is to replenish those books as they run out. So if you're into reading books or writing books or whatever, you'll be able to contribute to that library, and that'll kind of help build up more of the role play and more of the lore elements of the server. So now, something that Sophie and her crew, I think, is going to like is this this new spawn will actually have not one but many small pubs and brewery areas, but we'll also
yeah, that's
have
my crew.
one like main area. It'd be like a kind of a party area, if you will, almost like a I want to say a saloon, but not quite.
Like a nightclub district?
We're in the Old West now.
A what? Sorry,
Like
what was
a
that,
clubbing
Sophie?
district, right?
Well, kind of, but Renaissance style.
Oh, ballroom.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
So drinking wine and cheese.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so Sophie's crew, they can they'll be able to party in class or with class. So yeah, many new features with this spawn. There's even many more that we haven't even mentioned. Those are just the ones that come to mind off the top of my head. So anyway, that's going to be one of the big things. Now, moving on here, aside from that, we're going to be setting up a Bungie network. You guys have already seen the beginnings of that. That's why we've had to change up the chat a bunch. These changes, so you guys know in the short term, there's going to be a little bit of nuisances with that, so I apologize for that. But in the long term, this will be very worth it. You're probably wondering, why are we setting up a Bungie network on a Townie server? It probably sounds like we're going to try to be a hub server. Don't worry, we're not. We're just using Bungie to increase our performance. And what I mean by that is, what we're currently doing is we're currently taking a plugin called Multiverse, and we're taking it and we have all these different worlds and everything, but it all gets processed on the same processing core, right? And since it's all processed on the same core, when we lag, if you guys remember back when we used to be busy, whenever we'd get up into like the 50s and 60s, it'd lag a lot. It wasn't because we were out of RAM. We had more than enough RAM. The issue is that when you get so many people all being processed on the same exact server, the way Minecraft was written, one server only utilizes one core. Thing is, our server, the machine itself, has 8 cores, so if we're only utilizing one, then we're going to run out of CPU earlier than we have to. Bungie allows us to split this up a bit. And we're going to explain more how this is going to work here in a minute, but basically, Bungie's going to greatly reduce our lag by making it so that we can divide up all these different worlds and different things that we use into 8 different servers, essentially, utilizing 8 different cores.
If you guys remember the apocalypse event, this is going to be helpful for things like that in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. What's great about it is we'll actually have a test server connected to the real server, and we'll actually be able to test things like the apocalypse event in advance with a lot more accuracy than we could before, having a completely separate test server, separate from the server itself. So, but yeah, now with that, we're going to be adding some new worlds, okay? One of the worlds we're going to be adding that I know you guys are going to be excited about, people have been asking me for this for the longest time, is a creative world. So you guys will be able to go to this world, use creative, build your builds, whatever. And we might even add in some features such as, maybe as a luxury or whatever, we might even make it so that you can have your town copied over to this creative world. Now, your town itself wouldn't function in that, like Townie's not going to be in the creative world, but you could have your town itself copied over to that so that you can go in your town and actually build and see what it would look like when it's surrounded by the other builds in your town. So something pretty cool there. You'll no longer have to, go back and forth from a creative server in order to build things in creative. So, oh shit, we got a couple
have some visitors.
We got a couple visitors.
More of Santa's elves are visiting.
Let's see if we can get them in the call.
Oh man, maybe.
More friends.
Alright, hold on here. I'm gonna see if we can get them in here.
Yeah, I just invited them in.
Cool. There's Groove. Let me find Gosu. Too many Skype contacts.
Who are you people?
Here he is.
This is basically what staff does in their free time.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Shit, I fucked up. So, for those who... Oh, shit. Are we on the air? Oh, shit. Alright, guys. Alright. We're back on. Alright, we're back on. Alright, guys. We're back after a few technical difficulties there. Unfortunately, Groove and Gosu rejected us. Assholes.
But they're being creepy and watching us anyway.
Yeah, they're still watching us.
And there's Crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, is Crazy here too?
Yeah, he's outside.
Oh my god. We got a whole fan base. Yeah, I need to call security. Alright, so... Well, here, let's go ahead and get back to it. So anyway, yeah, we're going to get the creative world, right? Now, aside from the creative world and better performance, of course, the other big thing that's changing with Bungie is this. There's going to be like a lot of other worlds. So there's going to be a place for the build team to do their own building. Now, I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, well, shit, what's in it for us? What's in it for us is convenience. If they've got their own server that they can be doing their builds on, they can still talk to us. The chat will be connected in all these different servers, right? So you'll still be able to see them talk. They'll still be able to see you talk. But what's great is all the processing power associated with world edit and all that shit, it's all going to be done over in their server. So it won't affect the performance in ours, right? Now, aside from that, probably one of the more exciting features of this is going to be the mini-games world. That's right, we're finally rolling out with mini-games. Now, Brutal, Sophie, up until now, most of these things have been stuff that, you know, I kind of know a little bit more about, but do you guys remember from the meeting what we went over with the, you know, the mini-games?
Oh, as in, like, what game we're gonna add?
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of you guys have been asking for this, but we are going to be adding... Dun, da, 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 Sky Wars. And that's only one of them that we'll be adding.
Yep, we'll be adding Sky Wars, and then, Sophie, do you remember what else we're going to be adding?
I actually wasn't at that meeting. I was working.
Are you serious? Sophie, you're fired.
Okay, bye.
No, man,
No,
I
but
keep hearing the Skype thing go off. Who all's in the call?
Oh,
Do you guys keep hearing that?
Crazy, Gosu, and Love Groove.
They're in the call?
Yep.
Yeah, they're on the call.
You guys camera shy or something? Say hi. Oh my god. Oh, hold on, I hear a voice.
Yo,
Yo, what's up, Crazy?
how much? I'm good.
Crazy, do you have a way of turning your mic up? It's a little bit quiet.
Nope.
Ah, shit. Alright, guys, so that guy that you hear way in the background sounds like he's like a mile away. That guy's Crazy Metroid. And, Gosu, are you in the call, man?
Hi, folks. This is Gosu. What's up?
Word.
What's up, Gosu? Alright, so we got Gosu in the call, and then Groove.
Hello.
Hey, Groove.
Hey!
Hey.
We're all
Alright,
just gonna hang outside the building the whole time.
yeah, guys, just come
Yes.
chill in the newsroom. Sophie, make
Or stand
make
up
them,
there, that's cool too.
Yeah, make them some space. Break the windows if you have to.
Yes! Anarchy!
The last time I broke the windows, I was also fired.
You know, back in
I'll
the
just
day,
stand
we
up here.
broke the
Aw.
windows just to get in the place. Who was that again? Tioga? Books? I don't
I think it
remember.
was Simply.
Did Simply do that?
Simply or Die Hard, I don't remember.
We've listed everyone on the whole staff. Alright. So, anyway, so mini games. Gosu, you
Oh, yes.
remember the other two mini games, right? Other than Sky Wars?
I believe they are Hunger Games, and the other one is Ultimate Hardcore.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to be getting Sky Wars, Hunger Games, and Ultimate Hardcore. Now, Gosu, you're going to be the main one leading the build team, which, by the way, a quick interruption here. For those of you who are good at building, guys, we really need builders right now. Apply for the build team. We really need some builders. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of cool shit we're going to be building. But anyway, so Gosu, you're going to be the main one leading the development of these maps. You know, what kind of ideas do you have so far for these maps?
Let's see. Hunger Games are probably going to be the largest maps, and I have a lot of themes swirling around in my head. Like, of course, everybody knows I like to build medieval style, so I have some cool castle themes I'm thinking about working on, and Also, futuristic theme.
Oh,
Should
that'd
be
be
pretty.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, Gosu, a lot of, when we talk about like Ultimate Hardcore, a lot of that stuff's also on like, the terrain's a big factor, is it not?
Yeah, yeah. It's basically like a wide open map. There's not really anything in the way of structures on the map, but
Mhm. Now, you've been messing around with World Machine. Do you think
yeah, World Machine and World Painter.
do you think you'll be able to like roll out with some pretty cool custom terrains for that?
Yeah, actually, I have been working on a few custom trains. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how good they turn out, but hopefully soon I could show you the progress on some of those.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think there's a ton of potential for good maps with those custom terrains. So, anyway, folks, with the mini games, we're gonna have a mini games world. There's gonna be 3 mini games to start with, and we're gonna have 3 maps for each one of those mini games. So 3 different Sky Wars maps, 3 different UHC maps, and 3 different Hunger Games maps. And we're gonna continue to expand on those maps afterward. Going forward. So. There'll be more and more maps each month. We'll probably add, a couple more, and there'll also be more mini games. We're not just going to stop at those 3. There'll be more mini games later on as well. So yeah. What do you guys think of that? I'm just curious. We never really even talked about your opinions on it a whole lot in the meeting. So
I only play to get drunk.
there we go. Maybe we could have like a beer pong mini game.
What? Yo, let me get on that, bruh.
Yeah. So
Went to college for a reason.
all right. I guess it's time to move on from the mini games. We will also be overhauling our staff, the way we do things on staff. So we've been talking about that lately. This one, from the player's perspective, I'm not going to lie, you probably won't see a whole lot, but what it will mean for the player is this. Staff will be able to get a lot more done. You'll be able to count on more consistency when it comes to the tournaments. You'll be able to count on faster response times when it comes to tickets. You'll be able to count on there being a higher frequency of staff being available, so staff will be on more often throughout the day, even into the night. We're working on getting a night crew. We're working on expanding staff. For those who haven't applied, if you're interested in joining, do apply right now. An application is up. It's only going to be up for a few more days, though, so make sure you get that done. But
Join the build team.
yeah, that's right. Join the build team. We need builders more than ever right now.
We
so.
do. And Gosu and Rock have been doing, and Love have been doing so much hard work for us.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Groove and Gosu are both very dedicated builders, but 2 people alone can't pull all the weight. So cool. All right. Well, pretty much like I said, the details, most of the stuff as far as the new staff organization isn't going to pertain to the players. But like I said, just know that we are overhauling the way we do it. We're basically distributing the work a little bit differently, and it's going to make it so that basically we're able to get more stuff done faster. We're going to be able to make faster progress than we used to, and ultimately it's just going to lead to a better experience for everyone in the player base. So.
And speaking of overhauling, we will be overhauling the rules. Tio, if you want to explain more.
Yeah, I mean, you know all about it too, don't you, Brutal? Well,
The rules aren't going to change all that much. We're just going to make a few changes here and there. We are going to explain a little more about the rule instead of having vague, very, very vague statements. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to be posting those on the website. So basically, there's going to be a few new rules, things like, what was a couple of the ones we're adding? One of the ones we're adding that really should have been there from the get-go. I don't know why we haven't added this yet. One of the new rules is just going to be no racism, okay? we've had a lot of issues. It's gonna be no racism and no hate groups. We've had a lot of issues these last like 6 months.
Month or so. Yeah.
Yeah, just really since the beginning of this server. I don't know what it is, but we've had a lot of issues with these like neo-Nazis coming in and like cracking some seriously offensive jokes, and then some of them say just outright racist shit, like they're not even joking. I mean, we've seen everything from, like I said, jokes to full-on just outright racist shit. The rules as it stands don't really address that outside the scope of harassment and disrespect, so we are going to be adding that as a rule so that we can more efficiently deal with these people and get them out of the server. The whole point of the whole rule enforcement changes that we're making is going to be to improve the community more and drive out those people who make the community worse at a faster rate. So a lot of the new rule enforcement policies are going to be more strict than they used to be. Things like, some people have figured out that the current punishment for hacking is a 1-week temp ban. A 1-week temp ban, I think most of us can agree, is just too light of a punishment for hacking. It's a mild slap on the wrist for such a severe offense. Same with grief. I believe the current first offense for grief is a 1-day jail. So you could go and burn your neighbor's house down and destroy something that took him days to build, and all you might get for that's a 1-day jail. And for a lot of people that might be worth it. A lot of people take the 1-day jail. So anyway, that's going to be changed. Same with like things like as it stands right now, you can violate, as long as they're in different categories, you can violate a lot of different rules, rack up a lot of offenses, and still not get banned as long as they're in different categories. Now we're setting a cap on how many total offenses you can get before you end up banned from the server. Now, these things, the specific punishments and all that, won't be posted to the site. But what will be posted to the site is explanations of the rules. So we will clarify each and every rule in detail so that everyone knows what it is and what it isn't. So
don't be going breaking the rules, though.
Yep. Do you guys have anything else to add on that?
No, I missed that meeting too.
Sophie. That's okay. We'll find something for Sophie to jump in here on. So, the next one is ranks. Now, one of our goals is to double the number of overall ranks for this expansion. So, currently we have, I believe, about 60 ranks, roughly. We want to top 100 ranks for this expansion. We're going to be adding a lot more categories. Some of the ones we've talked about, we have recently added the party one, although it hasn't taken off yet. We'll be promoting that a little more. Aside from the party ranks, we're going to be adding, to go with the fact that we're going to have a functional library soon, to go with that fact, we're going to be adding sort of a lore, what was it, like a story writer.
Historian. There we go.
Yeah, the historian sort of rank tree, if you will. Now, Sophie, you were in on the content meeting we had a while back. What were some of the other rank trees that we're going to be adding?
I think we talked about having a farmer, like a gardening rank, something like that.
Yeah.
Like just like a couple ranks that don't go to the full 5 tiers.
That's right. We will have some more like mini rank chains that just go tier 1 through 3. These will be for things like farming, mining, a lot of the MCMMO kind of basic gameplay types of things that wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for like a tier 5 or 6 rank, but could be kind of cool just to have if you were a new player.
Or even just have the title for, so that your rank really means it's what you do on the server pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping personally for a admin rank that says drunk staff.
Drunk staff? Well, we could make
Solid.
arrangements. You know what? Quick tangent here. Okay? Forgive me. I can't believe I left this out. the new spawn is going to have a Hall of Fame, okay? I can't believe I left this out. It's going to have a completely overhauled Hall of Fame. You know how our current Hall of Fame is just like this like narrow little hall, doesn't really stand out much at all. The new Hall of Fame is going to be huge. There's going to be space in it for statues and for podiums and all kinds of shit. And there's going to be a lot of new awards associated for the greatest contributors of the server. I'm not talking the biggest donators either, but just the greatest contributors to the server will be able to be recognized and rewarded in this new Hall of Fame, as well as the tournament winners of the new tournament. Talk more about that later. But anyway, getting back on track here, ranks.
Like going back to ranks, like the new rank that we've introduced, the party rank. All the pubs that we're gonna have. There's so many venues that people can use, and the librarian rank. There's so many things that new spawn is gonna offer for these new ranks that we're gonna be making for y'all.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Now, what were some of the... Sophie, the other day you proposed an idea that was really good for some of the ranks. What was that?
Oh man, I think the only thing I proposed recently was like a roleplay rank, but I don't think that's what you meant.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard
Yeah.
to like make that an objective thing.
I'm not sure. Let me think about that. I'll get back to you.
We could maybe come up with something like that. But yeah, so you guys know the ranks have not been established yet, so we are open to your ideas. If you have ideas for rank chains, now is a really good time to post them in the suggestions, because we're going to be rolling out with a lot of new ones. Like I said, 100 is the minimum. If there's enough good ideas out there, we could keep going all the way to 120, 130, even 140 ranks, if there's enough good ideas for that. Now, so you guys don't waste your time or anything, here's what constitutes a good rank chain. It needs to be something that can be objectively measured, meaning we can measure it fairly, and it can't be something that's easily manipulated. Otherwise, just everyone's going to go down that, right? So it's something that has to be challenging, something that can be measured, something that can be defined. There can be a little bit of gray area. It doesn't have to be completely black and white, but for the most part, the gray area has to be small, and then it also has to be practical for us to roll out with these ranks. It can't be something that is going to take a staff member 3 hours to assess, okay? So, anyway, as long as it meets that general criteria, then we'll probably roll out with it. So, definitely post your ideas, but...
I want to bid in. Oh, sorry. I want to butt in real quick. I just want to thank you guys for filling out that survey. It's still very much open for the next week or so, but we've received plenty of responses, and I've actually had some responses about ranks. So we are going to be reading your responses super soon, and definitely taking those into consideration. So thanks very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys. I just want to say something adding to that real quick. We've gotten over 40 surveys, over 40 responses recently, and as you guys all know, our server population hasn't been as high recently as it was in the past. So to get 40 responses, in the past, the most we ever got was like 21 responses. We've more than doubled that this go around, and so that shows that we do have a very involved community that really cares. So. It's definitely
we're currently at
appreciated.
44 responses, and that's a lot of people.
That is a lot. So,
And we really do love hearing from you guys, so we do take your suggestions into consideration, and so far, all the suggestions that you all have made so far, we're definitely starting to put them into play just for you guys.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna
absolutely.
be seeing a lot popping up soon.
Yep, it's a work in progress. Right now we're laying out the framework for it all, but absolutely. Now, when we talk about pretty soon, there is something that's coming up on the horizon that will be kind of fun. For those of you who don't remember, this server, we used to do these things called events, okay? We used to do these things called events. We'd do these things that, they call them 1v1 tournaments, right? And, man, none of you guys hear the sarcasm in this. Everyone's just dead silent.
Everything you say is law.
But anyway, so we used to do events, right? And we're going to be doing some pretty soon again. In fact, we've actually got 4 pretty big ones lined up over the next couple months. But one of them that's coming up here pretty soon is our Christmas PvP event. We're going to be doing a 1v1 event. Of course, it'll be on a Christmas themed map. But aside from a 1v1 event, we're going to be doing a few other PvP events that are yet to be established. Now, Sophie and Brutal, you guys are both in event planning, right?
Nope, that's me and Rook.
You and Rock, that's right. Brutal's player service. But anyway, Sophie, you're in event planning. What have you guys talked about so far as ideas for the Christmas PvP event?
Yeah, well, we're throwing around a couple themes. We're thinking about basing it off a certain movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Certain
But I don't
movie.
want to say which one. You'll recognize it when you see it.
Oh, okay. All right, that could be cool. I'm just
Dun, dun, dun.
thinking of all the Christmas movies here.
It's a good one.
Christmas Story, leg lamp.
We might
Excellent.
change it now. That's better.
So apparently we're going to be doing some kind of movie themed event. I don't really even know about this yet, but sounds pretty cool. But basically it's going to be like a Christmas day full of PvP events. However, it's not just going to be PvP events. Peek and I have already talked about this. We're going to be putting on a separate gift giving event. So you guys know this event's going to be on December 21st. There'll be more posted about it on the website later on, but basically there's going to be a gift giving event where there's going to be like a big ass tree, right? It'll probably be somewhere close to the spawn. Everyone will be able to see it and walk to it. And anyway, you'll be able to go up to this tree, and underneath it there's going to be a variety of chests, and you'll be able to place, basically if you want to participate in it, you'll like sign up somewhere, we'll get you a chest, and you won't be able to get into your chest, but other people will, and they'll be able to put gifts into it. I don't remember the exact details of how it worked, but we managed to figure out a way to do this last year to where basically people would be able to give the gifts, and the person receiving the gifts would not be able to open them until the Christmas event. So pretty cool little deal there. Last year we did this. A lot of people really liked it. Last year we had a huge tree. I'll see if I can post a screenshot of it, but there was a huge tree full of gifts underneath, and we actually ran out of chests before it was over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then at the event itself, it really was crazy because you had people everywhere getting their gifts, and yeah. So, do you guys have anything else to add on that?
No, I'm pretty excited for that. I was never on Ionia when you guys did that, so I think it's really nice to bring the players together in such a way.
For sure. Groove, Gosu, you guys were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Groove,
Yeah, I was there. Gave a lot of gifts.
We
yeah.
both hate Christmas.
Yeah. Let's see here. Hold on. I'll probably edit this part out just because we're kind of stalling a little bit. I got Lizzie distracting me. Shit. Stupid dog. Oh, get off my lap. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on. Now, close to the Christmas event, we're also going to be doing a surprise New Year's event, okay? Now, we're not going to talk much about what this New Year's event's going to be. It
Bring
is,
down.
you know, the fact that we're having an event's not a surprise, but what we're doing is a surprise on New Year's. I'm just going to say this, though, okay? I'm just going to say this. All you Ionians out there, the ones who came here from Ionia, and even those who have been curious about Ionia, you're going to want to show up to this event. Get your friends, okay? Your friends from Ionia, even if they haven't played in a while, get them to show up to the event too. Just trust me, it'll be worth it, okay? We're not going to talk about what this event is or anything like that, but just show up to this one. Skip all the other ones. Show up to this one. So anyway, moving on here, we're going to top all this off with one last big event. It's going to happen in March. Okay, there's going to be one big, huge spring event. We're going to be talking more about that later on, but that is coming up. But Just know that by the time we do this big event, the server will no longer be in beta. We'll have rolled out with all the features. It'll be fully stabilized. And this event, we're still open to ideas for. In fact, we're going to be talking about ideas for this big event quite a lot over the coming months. And we'll probably start preparing for it in February. So if that puts it into perspective, we're going to be preparing for this event really over 4 months between the idea generation, the planning phase, and then the actual preparation phase. It's going to be one huge day. You won't want to miss that. Again, it's going to be March 25th. Put it in your calendars. I know it's a long ways out, but we're going to be talking about this for a long time. So, for the meantime, start coming up with themes. Remember how we, way back in July, was it? Maybe it was August. We asked you guys what you wanted for the event. We had you guys choose between an apocalypse-themed event, a Pirate Day-themed event. What was the other theme again? It was like a third one.
Murder mystery.
Yeah, murder mystery. Yeah, so those were the 3 different options, right?
I can't.
Start coming up with ideas for a theme, right? So anyway.
We definitely get your suggestions. It helps us out a lot with this stuff.
Absolutely. So you guys know, everything that we roll out with, a lot of people think that it's just me. Like, I'm sitting behind the screen and I'm like, sitting there with my cigar and trying to come up with what we want. No.
Cigar. Dang, you fancy.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's how people picture me. But, no, that's not the way it works. We actually have content meetings where we get together, we pull up all the suggestions and everything. We get all our surveys out, and we've tried to figure out what you guys want, and that's the basis for all of our ideas. It's not about what I want or what some of the staff want. It's not anything like that. It's about what you guys want. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to talk more in later follow-up videos about this big event. Obviously, right now this event's very vague. But we'll definitely have some more follow-up videos as this event approaches. But like I said, for the meantime, start giving us themes. We want themes. Come up with everything you can imagine. So,
We want to hear from you.
now, guys, we're finally ready to start talking about the big announcement of the evening. This is probably the biggest of all the announcements coming up. Fundamentally, we are changing the tournament. Okay? Now, before we start talking about the new tournament system, let's talk about why we're changing the tournament. As you guys know, in the last, I think, 5-6 tournaments, if you count Ionia, then in the last year, there's only been essentially 2 different towns that have won the tournament. We've had Dakara, or the equivalent of Dakara, Kadoma, and we've also had Skyforge. Now, I'm not saying that's a problem. I don't have a problem with Skyforge or Dakara. I like both of those towns. But we have a tournament, as it is right now, that's very, very stagnant. Most of the time, people can predict, really, and I don't say this to brag, but rather to point out the true flawed nature of our tournament. I can usually predict the whole entire outcome of the tournament literally right by the time we're done with registration. Like, as soon as I make the brackets, I can look at the brackets and I can just kind of tell you what the outcome's going to be. There's not a lot of volatility in this tournament. This tournament is one that caters to the towns that have won it in the past, meaning every time you win it, it becomes that much easier to win it again. This is mainly because of the way economy is set up. It's also because of the way culture is set up. If you've won an economy, all you have to do is stay a step ahead and you get massive prizes. And so it's easy to stay a step ahead because of those massive prizes. But that's all you have to do in order to continue to win an economy. And if you've won in culture, well, you've got a great looking town, so it's pretty easy to keep winning in culture, right? The only thing that's really variable at all is military. And even military is not all that variable. It's modestly variable, but you get the point. Our current tournament system is not very volatile, and that's what we're going to aim to fix. Furthermore, a lot of towns don't prefer to be all 3. Some towns do, but a lot of towns, they kind of like, some towns like PvP. Some towns like, looking nice. They like culture and buildings. And there's some towns that like economy. We're no longer going to force towns to try to be all three. We're going to take a different approach. And then one last flaw is just with our current economy system. With the current economy system, towns have an incentive to boot out refugees. Towns are punished for having refugees, if you will.
Or noob.
I just saw Gosu turn around. That's pretty funny. But anyway, and that's not really good for the server. You can imagine if you were a new guy to the server and you didn't understand the tournament, and you join some town and you think you're making friends, and one day this tournament that you don't even understand, and you get booted out of the town, you're probably going to leave the server, right? Like that's going to feel kind of demoralizing, and so that's also a flaw that we need to fix. So
Sorry. One, I had a couple of responses from the surveys that were pretty positive, and some people did like the addition of the rookie town, because it does add a little more incentive for the newer town to join in the town tournaments as well. So I thought that was a good plus, even to our current system.
that is true. Don't get me wrong. It might sound like I'm bashing our current system. Our current system, it is overall a good town tournament. It has been successful for us for a long time. A lot of people have gotten hyped over the tournament. We have had a
Times
lot
are
of
changing.
good tournaments out there. But we have thought of a model that we think will be an improvement to the system. So now the details are not fully in on this model, and like the big event, there will be follow-up videos as more and more details are established, okay? But here's what we have established so far. We're going to break up the tournament into 3 different parts, basically 3 different tournaments, okay? The first one, is economy, is going to be changed from a town thing to an individual thing. There's no longer really going to be a town economy tournament. There will, however, be an individual economy tournament. This will be for individual players. The reason we made this change was because we found that most people who are really into economy, they often like it for the more individualistic elements of it. A lot of them aren't doing it to, help their town out, so to speak. So that's going to be the first change. Aside from that, there's going to be a build tournament. The build tournament will be town-based. There will also be individual ones as well. But the build tournament will be town-based, and basically each month there will be some kind of, it could be a theme, it could be a build, it could be some kind of goal, whatever. There's going to be some kind of objective from a building standpoint for towns to hit if they want to participate in the building tournament. And those who win, of course, will receive prizes, and there'll be special locations for their podiums in the Hall of Fame, so on and so forth. So we're really going to expand on that. I know it sounds very basic right now, like, oh, it's just going to be some kind of a basic building tournament now. But it will actually make it very complex with judges and different rule systems and so on and so forth. So it'll definitely be a fun and exciting thing for the serious build towns out there.
Even so, I don't think we've ever had a build tournament per se. So I know a lot of people have been looking forward to that. People have been suggesting it in the survey. People have been suggesting it in the forum. So it's going to be a very, very big thing for our player base.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of great builders out there that kind of like our culture system a little bit. But let's be honest, the culture system always kind of did have a flaw in the sense that something Grip pointed out is that it's at least half politics. There's been a lot of times where towns have beat other towns that didn't look nearly as good. And I'm not going to say that politics won't play a factor in the new build tournament, because it's kind of hard to take politics out of anything, really. But
Very true.
we are going to be able to have more flexibility with this, so that at least you won't be able to predict which town's going to win every single month, because it'll be a different challenge every single month. There'll be a different set of judges every single month, and even the judging system itself could change every single month. So since there'll be more flexibility, we'll be able to change it more, and that'll kind of take out the politics element a little bit. So yeah,
You guys look forward to that coming up soon.
Yeah, I
definitely.
think like the best thing about the new build tournament is going to be like towns, like before towns could just like ride off of their old builds. Like there are some towns who really haven't built anything in like a long time, so having to judge new builds every month is going to be a big plus.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, totally. Yeah, that's I don't really look at it much, but I'm thinking Skyforge, they're probably winning a lot of culture each month, probably just off builds that were built, last May. So, could be wrong. I haven't checked them out in a while, but
No, it's still pretty much the same.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and nothing wrong with that, but under the new system, the more active towns will have an advantage. So,
Oh yeah, and it definitely caters to the different aspects of Valcrest as well. It's not going to be combined into all one
And
big tournament.
it's not just building either. There's going to be other bits that we do too.
Hmm.
yep. I just want to point out something real quick. If you think about it, well-roundedness is kind of boring. Like, I feel like specialty towns are actually kind of cooler. Like,
AKA Treadland.
Meanwhile, I'm alone in my own town.
poor Brutal. That's okay. I'm homeless on my other character. Kinda.
That's
But,
sad.
Yeah, I know it really is. So, okay, now, there's one last big thing. We've saved the best for last, okay? Uh, everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but most players are most excited about the PvP elements of the tournament. That's what has always gotten people hyped up in the past. Those are the ones that have gotten people so excited. We're about to take that to a whole new level, okay?
Get ready to lose all of your friends.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's right. That's right. So, we're now going to have the PvP League, okay? The way the PvP League, now there's going to be an official name for it separate from that. I don't know what we'll call it, but basically, we're going to have a PvP League that's going to operate similar to the NFL, but with PvP, okay? In order to participate in the PvP League, and I encourage towns to start working on this right now. Towns are going to have to build a stadium. The stadium's going to have to meet certain requirements. These requirements will be established very soon. We'll probably have them posted next week. But anyway, so towns are going to have to meet certain requirements. They're going to have a stadium. They're going to have a certain size. They're going to have been in the server for a certain amount of time. And if they meet all these requirements, then they can join the PvP League. Now, there won't be quite as many towns in the PvP League as there used to be, but the towns that are in there will be very competitive. We still haven't established exactly how the rosters will work just yet. There could be like a draft. There could be maybe the players get chosen from your town. We're not really sure about that just yet, so we are open to ideas on that. Please post them in the forums if you have any good ideas. The goal is to make it as volatile as possible. Now, the PvP League will go longer than previous tournaments did. They'll probably go for 2 or 3 months as opposed to just 1 month. We're not really sure, though. So please give us your input on that as well. That one's still in the air. But one thing that is certain is this. The towns are going to travel from stadium to stadium to different towns in order to fight, just like they do like in the NFL. And instead of having a bracket system, it's going to be more like an every possible combination system, and then we narrow it down to maybe 4 towns at the end who have the best records overall, right? And then you do like a final 4 with brackets. So anyway, this idea is still got some details that need to be established, and just like the big event and other things that we've talked about here, there will be follow-up videos as more of these things are established and clarified. So anyway, what this means for the meantime, though, is that we are open for ideas. Definitely post them. And also, if you are interested in this already, start getting your town ready. All these tournaments, the economy tournament, the PvP league, as well as the build tournaments, are all going to roll out January 7th. So we're really not too far away. You can start preparing for all that now. And yeah, I mean, do you guys have anything else to add to it?
No, but I'm really excited just to see like people really participate in what they really want to do.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
can't wait to see what people put out.
Well, and something else too I should mention, there is going to be an incentive. When we follow up, the first video we're going to follow up with probably next week is going to be the details for the PvP League. But I can tell you guys this, there's going to be money and item incentives for towns to build these stadiums. So, yes, it's going to take a lot of resources to build these stadiums, but you'll also get resources in return, and you'll be able to join the PvP League. So you guys know, and here's another thing worth mentioning. The winners of the PvP League will get massive prizes. It's going to be very prestigious, very glorious. We plan to promote it extremely heavily. So not only will you get these massive prizes, but your town will be very well known. Your town will be prestigious. It'll have a place in the Hall of Fame. There's going to be a lot of very big incentives to do well in the PvP League. So,
What about the people that don't PvP?
the builders?
What if they don't build either?
Then we're talking economy?
What if we don't like earning money? What if all we do is drink booze?
Well, there'll be new ranks for you.
Okay.
The person who can make the best booze.
Speaking of booze, how could we skip out on the booze? My bad. I said we had saved the best for last, referring to the PvP League. We've got
I
more
think
booze
this really
coming.
is the best.
We've got more booze coming. Sophie, you can finally, this whole video. Here, the camera's on you,
man.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Here,
Right
zo-
now,
zoom
I'm
in on
working
Sophie.
closely.
Sophie, look
Yeah,
to
I'm
your
working-
left.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I can't really do a close-up.
It's me.
Okay, cool. Whatever. This works. Anyway,
Okay.
so how many boos? You said you're working on this with Groove. Is that true?
No, I'm working on this with Pika.
Pika. My bad.
Yep. We're not
How many
quite
drinks
sure.
are you gonna make?
God.
Oh man, as many as I can think of, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know how many she's gonna stop me at.
I know a different server that has 120. I think
Yeah,
we
I've
should
looked
beat
at
that.
a lot of different recipes. I think we've pretty much found all the ones that we have active right now. But the way this is going to work is you're going to have to, we'll tell you some of the recipe, like what the ingredients would be, and maybe one step of the recipe, like how many ingredients, or
All you drunks, hold on to your butts.
something, like just one hint for it.
My
And then you'd
God.
have to figure out the recipe yourself.
I cannot wait to get back
What if-
on my normal character for this.
What if you make it a contest to see who can find out a recipe while they're drunk?
Oh, that could be cool.
Oh
That's
God.
story time. My first brewery on this server, I had lava for my heat source. That is a very bad idea. Don't do it because I burnt myself to death so many times.
Maybe for the big event we can do a drunken pirate party.
Oh,
Always down for drunken.
on the survey, someone had suggested a new rank called the Town Drunk.
Town drunk.
I bet that was someone from my
Be a
town.
great opportunity.
People really want these booze ranks.
Yeah, no, booze was highly sought after in the surveys.
I wonder if we could make some kind of a brewery-based rank. I don't know how we
Oh,
would
we
really
definitely
do it.
could.
Oh
You
yeah,
think
I'm
so?
sure we
Yeah,
could.
easily.
Like a mixologist or a brewmaster or something.
Is there brew levels that I just don't know about?
Well,
like
if you
if-
brew badly, you get bad effects, and you can get a bad hangover.
We could make
Ooh.
super challenging. Aren't there some brews that are challenging to make?
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
could make it so that they have to like brew so many of like a really challenging brew or something, or like
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
have like brew making contests so that like you're given like, say you're given an hour of time.
yeah, we
You need
could
to make
add
this
this to
many
the
drinks.
tournament.
Yeah, that'd be
Whichever town
fun.
has the best booze. That's like a part of culture, isn't it?
Definitely.
Like, you know how like Wisconsin has the best cheese? You know,
Eh,
same thing, best booze.
I think Italy has the best cheese, but that's just me.
Do they? I don't know. I've never been to Italy.
He's been
Me
to
neither, but
Wisconsin.
also I've been to Farm Fresh.
Okay, guys. So there you have it. All right. So the Valcrestian Renaissance expansion. So you guys know. Okay, real quickly before we wrap it up, the reason we're calling it the Renaissance expansion isn't just because of the spawn. It's because we're going to be launching all this, the new spawn, all these features, everything. The main launch for all of it, other than the big event at the end, is going to be on March 4th. Okay, Saturday, March 4th, which will be basically the 1 year anniversary of when we started this server. And the
Oh,
reason we call it the Renaissance, the Valcrestian Renaissance, is because this is going to be like a rebirth to our server. We're going to be, bringing it to the next level, and we're going to be sort of taking what we already have and sort of evolving with it, and we're going to be kind of bringing back to life what we used to have in many different ways. So that's why we're calling it that. Again, the Valcrestian Renaissance expansion. You're going to be hearing a lot more about this over the coming weeks. There's going to be a lot of follow-up videos. Remember, we've got a lot of awesome events coming up. We've got the Christmas PvP event that's on the 21st. On New Year's Eve, we got the New Year's event. It's going to be a surprise one. Ionians, make sure you're there. Aside from that, we're going to have the launch of the new tournament on January 7th. And then we're going to have the the ending of our beta, I should say. The launch of the new spawn and many of these new features, including mini games, so on and so forth. That's going to happen on March 4th. And then March 25th is going to be our big event. So lots of very exciting things coming up. In the midst of that, we'll probably do some other 1v1 tournaments and that sort of stuff as well. So those things are coming back. So cool. Well, I think that's a wrap.
All right.
awesome.
See ya. Okay.